So when you're not aligned with the norm of what is considered normal in society, many will reject your understanding first before they accept it, if they even ever do. And it's really not about acceptance so much. It's more so about aligning with individuals that are truly understanding your perspective and connecting to those individuals. It's not so much about worrying about who's not going to be in alignment or resonant to what you speak of or what you believe, because that just means that they're not in sync with you, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just a part of life, right? Everyone is not going to agree. Then that's when it's a good practice to agree to disagree. It shouldn't cause a riot, even though most of the time, under those circumstances, it does. Because the emotions are so tied up into the belief that everyone's rigid. No one wants to look at other things for possibilities, because there's many possibilities that haven't been reviewed or looked at yet. It's like being assigned to a certain understanding that you never signed up for, but you're just assigned to it. And then you don't want to counter it because majority of individuals do the same thing. So then you would be looked at as the oddball out. When I said oddball out, I saw an image of an 8-ball. Blackballed. Okay? Now I'm hearing black sheep. It's funny how things that have to do with oppressing or excluding, many times black is put in front of it, right? That's interesting. But back to these messages. The best thing you could do is create your own understanding. Because just because we know what we've been taught doesn't mean it's always right. And that's the kicker. It's not always right. And we have to be able to tap into our discernment enough, or to the point of being able to make sense of those beliefs that we have that are not right. We have to come to a point where we make the decision that, I believe that because of this. When you start looking at why you believe certain things, you really get to the root of where it came from. And if you look at it now as an adult, you'll look at things differently, because then you're going to be like, but why? Why is that like that? Where did that come from? Where did it start? When did it start? What was going on in the environment around that time? And this is you could do that. You can practice this method with any belief that you have, just to evaluate it, to make sure that it's the right thing to think. Okay? Now, many of you are very sediment. It's hard for you to be shaken away from your belief system. And many of you, the reason why is because you know it is right. It is right for you. Now I'm also getting the reason why it's right for you is because you know it. Your beliefs begin with God. Your belief begins with being respectful and being honest to what is, like being honest about even challenging topics, just being honest with yourself, because it's easy to lie. it's easy to lie to ourselves and others, but it's more difficult to be honest with yourself and others. That's more challenging. And I believe that that's a big reason why people lie so much, because it's easier and it doesn't make them stand out. It doesn't make them look any different from the majority of individuals in society. If they continue to, like, if one continues to lie to themselves and lie to others and go along with a lie that they know is true, or to go along with a lie that they know isn't true, that's a decision that you make that ends up being on you. Like, I heard that's on you. You know, when, like, say for instance, someone asks, do you want to go here? Oh, well, I'll go anywhere. That's on you, whatever you choose. Or if someone does something that they shouldn't have done and they knew they shouldn't have done it, and then they're like, oh, I messed up and I caused a problem. Oh, well, that's on you because you did that, right? And then that tacks back to accountability for the beliefs. I'm here when we become accountable for our beliefs, a lot of what we've been believing will be removed. I just heard, why is it so hard for us to be accountable for what we believe? Why is it so hard? Wow. So many people believing in things and don't even know why, but still believe it and put all of their strength in it. And most things that are in our database is not all correct. So the best thing many of you did for yourself was to evaluate what you believe about yourself and about the world around you and the things therein. That's the best thing that a person can do for themselves, because you find the truth about yourself and about the true connection with God, like having a real connection, because you look into yourself to find that connection with God, because it's real. It's you. Like, you know, when you're able to dive deep into your shadow and fall in love even with what you may have seen as the worst in you, because now you understand yourself more. To find love in the dark. I just heard to find love in the dark. Because in life, our whole life usually it's a bit dark, especially in the beginning, because you're trying to find your way. You don't really know who you are in the beginning. You don't know where your place is. You don't know many things, and you kind of, throughout your life, throughout the years, you're on a journey of finding oneself. And sometimes there are many that they've been placed here to be on that journey, but they haven't even started yet because of either their beliefs or their environment or their disbelief that finding oneself is even a thing. So there's so many obstacles that we have. There's so many loops that we can get stuck in that can cause us to really pull away from the beauty within each and every one of us. But in this case, the beauty within you. So the worst aspects that you may look at as the worst, they're actually the gateways to the truth about you. Okay, and many of you have tapped into that aspect of oneself, being able to understand what many may say is not a good trait. When you learn how to maintain a certain attribute that you have, to use it in your life, it becomes a tool. It becomes your power. It becomes an enhancement of your power. that you have to wield your life in whatever direction you see fit in that moment or in the moments of your life. I just heard, I challenge you to look inside of your darkness so that you can find the best in you. Because many times I heard the best is what you may think is the worst. It's just that there was a time where you didn't know how to use your tools. And some of you may still be working through that, trying to learn how to use the best aspects of you, as well as the aspects of you that you or others may have called the worst in you. I heard a thing is only bad if it's used by someone who chooses to do bad with it. So it's gruesome. I just got a gruesome, it's kind of gruesome, but I'm just going to say it. One can have a knife and cut up some fruit. One can have a knife and cut up somebody's ass. Okay? I'm just being honest. It's the truth, but it's who is holding the tool and what is the person doing with it. That's why the world is not the problem, it's the people they're in. The people that choose to do evil things are what makes this space that we share evil. It's those individuals that choose to do that. Now, I'm also hearing that even amongst the chaos, there's many of you that have learned how to create your own domain, your own world within a world. And this is a part of your power. This is the art of detachment and removing yourself from associating with circumstances and individuals that will counter your true nature. Because what one person may see as bad, you don't see it as bad. You just see it as what is. And anything that has to do with harming a person or affecting a person's belief of oneself in like a negative way, like someone like targeting someone's insecurities or something like that, those are not good things to do. And I feel like that's a universal, people can agree on that from a universal perspective, not unless they on demon time. However, but to actually have the small understandings of like the golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated, be mindful, be aware. Don't be messy, like, getting into conversations that really don't improve you in any way. When you look at these things, these foundational points that we all know can cause problems in our lives, and just stick to that, those are things that are considered good. I heard, but bad is on a spectrum. Because something that one can think is bad, it could be good under certain circumstances, which that goes into a whole nother topic. So I just poked at the bear a little bit, but that's what I'm getting here. So many people around you misunderstand you because you're choosing not to do what everyone else does or what everyone else in your environment has done. So you're looked at as that 8-ball, the oddball, the odd one out. The best thing here is that you were able to continue on that path without worrying. about what others said to you. It didn't matter to you because you know that your heart is telling you different. Your true compass was telling you different and still is telling you different. You can clearly see, well, not everyone can, but to who this message is resonating with, you can clearly see what is good for you and good for all. Or good for many, at least. And you gravitate towards that. That's what you gravitate towards. You don't gravitate towards low vibrational perspectives because you know any low vibrational perspective, it actually leads to death. When you focus on aspects of life that lead to love and life, and also understanding your darkness and how to use it to your advantage, that is the truth. That is what creates balance within so that you can be more confident without. It's just being honest with yourself. Because when you're dishonest with yourself, you become dishonest with the world and with those around you. And I feel like that causes like a mental breakdown. Because eventually anyone who's just lying for life and thinking that that's the right thing to do and they just lie all the time, I think it causes sadness and depression. Like say for instance, someone is using their profits incorrectly or their income or whatever you want to name it. And instead of using their income or resources to improve their life and to prioritize their responsibilities and make sure their bills are paid and everything's out of the way that's most important, but they're out getting all of the most expensive products, but they really can't afford it. Eventually that person is going to be very sad because it's going to be very difficult for them to keep up with that lifestyle when it's really it's not in alignment with what they truly want. It's kind of like they're just doing it because they feel like that makes them more accessible or acceptable. I didn't mean to say accessible, but it may be accessible as well. Like for individuals that feel like they have to have expensive products to be accepted and for individuals to want to be around them. That's a really I heard mutilated, but that's a weird word to say. That's a mutilated way of thinking. That's harsh, but I mean, I'll take it. Because it is chopped up. It is chopped. It is. I heard chop suey. So that causes depression when you're not buying things because you want them, because you really like them. You're more so doing it because you want someone to see them and compliment you, or because it might be nice to get a compliment here and there, but if a person is living for compliments or living to create some type of image of themselves that's not really true, because they buy these things just because it's a trend, but they don't really like it, that is crazy, and that is a lie. See, that's living a lie. And many people live a lie. Their life is a lie, and they're actually miserable, and they hide behind the things that they buy. And nothing against people who like nice things. I like nice things too. But there's just a way to indulge. And I'm picking up this energy from spirit saying that there's many individuals that even you know, and you might be one of these individuals as well, where you have found yourself putting money towards vain options in your life. Things that are just pleasant on the outside, but they don't maintain any balance within you, right? And like I said, this could be you that has gone through this and you got out of it, or it could be you right now, or it could be people around you that you've seen go through this. But many of you, for like the main idea of this message, is that you are not that person. The name brand stuff, it doesn't really strike a chord for you. It never really did. And especially, I'm hearing many of you research the designers, you know, the individuals that own these brands, and what are their values? What are their values? And then you find yourself like supporting what you don't even really rock with, and that's crazy. See? So there's sadness from different angles living this life of lies, a life of lies. So because you don't live a life of lies, you have individuals around you that don't like you because you're choosing to be different and you're not afraid to be different. And that's on them. Back to what I said in the earlier part of this message, that is on them because they made the choice to live that way. They didn't have to, but they chose to. So they made that bed, now they have to sleep in it, right? They have to deal with the other emotions that are hidden that they only deal with when they're alone. And they don't really tell anybody about that because there's really so much emptiness that they try to fill it up with things. And that's really sad because that means that they're truly not happy regardless of how big the purchases are that they make. They'll still feel emptiness. What's better? Peace within your spirit and balance and true reasons to smile within your truth, or just buying a bunch of things that look nice and you have to find appreciation for oneself from what other people appreciate about you instead of you finding ways to give yourself grace and appreciate oneself. That is so empty. I'm praying that those who are listening to this message are not in that way of thinking that you have to buy all these things and purchase frivolously just to appease the crowd. When most of the time the crowd don't even rock with you like that. They don't even really care, you know. And I think many times people get so caught up trying to be what they feel is acceptable, but it's the wrong attention that you get when you are on that wave. It's not good attention, because usually individuals that are driven by materialism, they don't have any depth to them. They're very shallow people. So you can't talk to them beyond the surface. They won't understand you, or they won't even care, or they're going to think that you're weird or something. Or that you're too well read, or, oh, the word bougie. I think they like to throw that around a lot too, you know? So, yeah, don't feel bad about believing what you know to be right, that is for the greater good, for oneself as well as for those around you. And for those who don't get you, that's okay. Your life is not for them. Your life is assigned to God. So what you do it for the God in you. You do it for the appreciation that you found in oneself, regardless of mistakes that you may have made in the past or confusion that you had in the past about your belief systems. Once you overcome the confusion, you receive clarity, and clarity is the truth. Clarity is God, because God does not confuse. God does not confuse. God gives you answers that many humans can't even give you. You know, it's like spiritual answers from beyond. And you receive these from being open to your experiences and actually evaluating them one by one and allowing yourself to take a lesson from it as opposed to looking at it as a loss. The more you can look at your life circumstances as lessons, and the more you can create, or the more you can close out instances that you feel you've never received closure from, those are the true ways for you to heal yourself. Those ways right there, like closing out things where you feel like someone should have apologized to you, or you feel like someone should have treated you better. When you're able to say, you know what, that person is lost and they haven't found themselves to the point of understanding why it would have been a good thing to apologize and to show acknowledgement for the wrongs. They're not there yet. So if you know and you accept that a person is not in the state of mind to understand why it would be a good idea to close something out, especially off the strength of something that they did wrong, if they don't know that they should apologize, then that's not a person that, do you really need their apology? Because they're not even on the same wave as you. So what is their apology shouldn't matter that much. That's giving someone too much control. Now, it's one thing to get something off your chest and you want to say something to someone, that's one thing. But when it comes to an apology, and sometimes getting something off your chest is not even worth it either. It just depends on you and it depends on the situation at hand. However, when you're able to close out chapters in your life that were left open because of a wound that the other individual left open because they did that on purpose anyway. Many times individuals that cause others trauma, they'll do things and leave a cliffhanger. Okay, not like a cliffhanger is like something in a movie or a book. It's good for that because it keeps your attention and it keeps you wanting more. But see, when the cliffhangers are used in a manipulative way, that's when it becomes a problem, and that's when you have to overcome that by closing out that chapter on your own, knowing that that person is not ready for your wave. Okay, so think about it like that instead of allowing yourself to get swept away and weighed down by a bunch of debris that's not even really yours. Okay? All right. So I think that's it for this reading, or this message. Energy reading. Everything you do it with love. Always remember the creator is in you and the magic is too, because you are magic. Much love to you. I'll see you in the next video.